Hi everyone, I'm Sunny, and today's video is going to be a yes or no format for whether entrepreneurship will work out for you. So I have 4 piles you guys can choose from left to right. I have pile 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you need more time, you're more than welcome to pause the video. Otherwise, I will go ahead and start with the first pile. So for pile number 1, you guys have a no. This is the 3 of Wands reversed. So for you guys, remember that this is a no for now sometimes, or it can be a no forever. You decide how this card can be interpreted. So do keep that in mind. But when it comes to this, I think that maybe the way you go about it when it comes to doing solo kind of projects, or maybe keeping things to yourself, might be a hindrance to yourself, or just like an obstacle or challenge, basically, if you go this path, because it might not be the way you're supposed to go about it. Maybe if you try to kind of like, go back to the drawing board and think about you know what, let me just drink a sip of water because my throat is just terrible. Sorry, pile number 1. I was doing so good earlier, but sorry. So go back to the drawing board and figure out if this is like the fastest way or the best way. I just feel like speed is somehow the issue for you here. Like, are you not patient? Are you like having issues with being on your own, or trusting yourself, or just giving yourself that confidence to like go for the goal that you wish to have? It just feels like you're kind of hesitant maybe too. So you're kind of keeping to yourself what your actual desires are. And maybe that's why entrepreneurship might not be the way to go, or at least how you're going about it. Maybe you should consider a different type of, like, you can still consider entrepreneurship, but maybe just like in a different way of, like, maybe it's not the right direction when it comes to the field or what you're trying to sell, for example. Or maybe it's just considering whether you could have employees or someone as not a coworker, what's it called, a partnership. So it could be one of those things. So keep that in mind, pile number 1, that there's different ways you can think about it, but ultimately you're the person who decides, because I like to use these general readings as a way you can use, basically, so you can practice your own intuition. But yeah, keep that in mind, that you still need maybe a bit more. Maybe you're still a bit green when it comes to communicating with other people, maybe, or just reaching out to people to work with you or something. It just feels like there's like some stagnancy. But keep in mind, take what resonates. So thank you, pile number 1. Next is pile number 2. You guys have, let me cover this. You guys have the World card upright, sorry. So this is a yes. I'm just going to cover the card. So the World card upright is a very positive yes, I feel, for this pile. Not all yeses are great, but keep in mind that I feel like you're going to be able to expand your world, make good communications with people. I think you're going to learn about different paths that you might even, like, you might start somewhere and end up completely different. And still, like, I do think that entrepreneurship would allow you to kind of, let me drink a sip of water. Entrepreneurship would actually kind of help you, like, start out. It just feels like it would kind of let you get your feet wet into the field that you want, and maybe you end up learning about different paths on the way because of people that you end up negotiating with or talking to, or people from other countries or online, like different locations. Like, just, it feels like very different foreign territory that you get to learn from, and like from people, and to cater to other people that are from your own different, like a different place from you. So I think it's beneficial for you in that way, where you feel like you're constantly learning. I think that maybe you're enjoying yourself in that way of mixing and mingling and becoming a bit more cultured and knowledgeable, wise, sociable, I think. Travel, I think you might also get to travel a lot with this pile. So keep that in mind. Pile number 2, that maybe, example, you could be into wanting to start like a travel agency. I don't know if it's still a thing, because everything seems to be like very much like app related. Or maybe you're the person who's like, well, I got an app to facilitate, or a website to facilitate like bookings and stuff. right? So it can be like that, where you're good at your niche, right? Which is needed, but it allows you to kind of explore many options and get to know like what they offer from other countries, or your own country but different locations, or just different markets. I feel like you would actually be really good at it, and this is why it's a yes. So it feels like you would be someone that's learning the ropes with this one, but eventually becoming a master at that. So thank you, pile number 2. Next is pile number 3. You guys have a yes. This is the this is a yes. This is a hermit. Sorry, my throat's terrible today. It's getting all dry and makes my voice hoarse. So for this pile, it's a yes. I feel that you are seeking to work maybe from home, or maybe to work alone or independently, or like not with much interaction. I think that you are a little bit more private. Maybe not necessarily shy, but I just feel maybe you're just more not up to par with social skills. Your communication skills with other people is not that sharp. Or maybe you're just not the kind of person who's going to be super emotionally concerned about your decisions when you're making like business decisions and stuff like that. So maybe you're just a tad bit socially awkward too. But overall, this feels like it's productive for you. It's a yes, but it might be kind of like a solo path with this entrepreneurship. Maybe you're just going to rely on yourself, and you're going to be good at it because this is someone who's very well educated. So I think that you might also take your time to actually know if this is like the correct path for you and stuff. But I just feel that you kind of learn like all this like strategies, like you're very strategic when it comes to your decision making and how you go about it. Like if this is like, let's say you're gonna have it rough for like 1 or 2 years, you're like, well, I prepare for every possible scenario. It just feels someone that is very educated in many types of problem solving like scenarios. And I think that's where you kind of triumph, because you kind of already prepared for the worst case, but you also prepared for the best case. So it just feels like you might enjoy that, or if you don't enjoy that, it would be like, yes, you could be successful here, but the problem is that you might have to be alone most of the time, or you might have to work long hours or into the night. Maybe you're that kind of person who's like, I left my 9-to-5 job to work my own schedule, but you end up working like odd hours of the day, a lot more in the day. So it could be like that. And you're like, well, I didn't think it through like that, but somehow it still works for you. So just keep that in mind, that you might just kind of be a little bit more lonely, a little more isolated, a little bit more to yourself, and just secluded in like your own space. So thank you, pile number 3. Next is pile number 4. You guys have the 2 of Cups reversed. So this is a no for you. So keep in mind, like I've said with previous piles before, that no's and yeses can be positive and negatives too. So this is a no. The entrepreneurship route that you're thinking about is not going to be easily working out for you. So the reason is because maybe you'd have to break contracts, or maybe you have to break would it have to be like you breaking up like your marriage or a partnership, like, or someone that you work with, that it's like you guys want very different things and you want different routes, so you end up going solo? It just feels like this pile would have disappointment when it comes to that, or you just have to be a little bit more selfish, more independent, and maybe that's not what you want to focus on, because, or maybe the field itself could be very cold. Like it just feels like you would have to not put your emotions in it, you know? Sorry for my throat, by the way. It sounds so hoarse, but I'm doing the best that I can. But apologies if that sound is annoying. But let me just take a sip of water. I think you might be frustrated. There you go, that's better. I think you might be frustrated that you would have to be solo for most of the time, and you thought that you could have some time to actually connect with people, or like communicate more. And it just feels like you would struggle, because the field itself could have been maybe like a sociable type of field that you started entrepreneurship, But the problem is, I just don't think the availability for you to communicate might not be there with people, to connect, to like emotionally connect. And that's going to be kind of feeling kind of icy about how you feel, like not how you feel, about how your work ethics are is not your style. So I think that's why it wouldn't work out for you, because you want to emotionally connect with it, but you also want to have that, like, bring a connection to the crowd you're kind of trying to cater to. So it feels like there's a misconnection there of like, this isn't working out in that way. Like, it would be a challenge for you to kind of like work through it, basically, or having to rely on just yourself to help yourself out in sticky situations, for example, not having a good support system to kind of rely on, right? So it might be tricky. I mean, it's up to you to decide how this can also be interpreted. Don't take just my interpretation for it, but keep that in mind, pound number 4. So that's what I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much, and have a great day. So bye, everybody.